understand what you're saying. Do they look like just apes to you?
Dad.
Malcolm, what are you doing?
Dad.
Malcolm.
Malcolm.
It's okay. Okay. Okay, we're going.
Welcome to Price of Admission. I'm Heath Rumble. Whether or not you'll enjoy Planet of the Apes mostly depends on why you go to the movies. If it's because of the spectacle and you love amazing special effects and cinematography, then I won't waste your time. Go see this film. Maybe even in 3D, because the effects were stunning. They were incredible. I mean that literally. I couldn't believe how real these apes looked. I know that in 10 years, this will probably seem untrue, but there wasn't a shot in that film where I felt like I was looking at a CGI monkey. And the cinematography was decent. It occasionally had some really epic shots, but it was too often formulaic, rarely informed by the moment or the tone. For those of you who want a little more meat in your movie, though, unfortunately the story and other aspects don't really take full advantage of the mastery of the technical departments. The human performances were pretty good, but the ape performances were great. A lot of hard work in finding a hybrid movement and even a language for the ape actors really paid off. Unfortunately, the writing and the direction was pretty bad. Characters just weren't developed enough. With expository dialogue and overdramatic performances, sometimes the humans felt more fake than the apes, actually. The writing for the apes wasn't that great either, though. The villains on both the human side and the ape side were almost cartoonishly evil, while the heroes were just naturally and uniformly righteous, leaving the whole film so black and white that I didn't feel like I learned anything about ape or human nature. On that note, the humans basically are just props in the movie. I had absolutely no clue what the protagonist Malcolm's role was in the society of survivors, yet just because he happened to be on a scout mission, he ends up being the liaison to the apes. And basically his family is used to represent the whole of humanity, because aside from Gary Oldman and a few token minority actors, they're all we get. And there's nothing unique about these characters. The pathetic amount of action the humans take in this film is actually laughable. They effectively become victims of an ape civil war, and the filmmakers don't really make any clear points about what that's supposed to mean. The film felt like it's trying desperately to tell you something, but it never really succeeds in saying what. Maybe I missed something, but that's honestly what it felt like, as though I'd been promised some iconic epic of a film, and instead I ended up in a haze as thick as the San Franciscan fog that the film overuses to death. The world doesn't really feel very intact either, with a tacky newsreel video at the beginning and a very vague sense of what the human survivors have been through. Unless you're a die-hard Planet of the Apes fan, obligated to watch this film, I'd say it's not worth the price of admission. Maybe a Redbox or Netflix watch would be good for some fluff. But I don't know, what do you think, Joakim?
Honestly, I think you're wrong, because this film is worth the price of admission, not only for its visual effects, but I mean, there is a little bit of an insider story. I mean, the human condition is obviously more benefited because the simian flu, which for anybody that hasn't seen Rise of the Planet of the Apes, happened during the mid-credits of the film.
Yeah, it was kind of like a tag almost.
It was a tag and sort of a spoiler alert to say, hey, this is the next film. And here we go about 3 years later from the last film. And no, like, humans were able to survive this flu and try to rebuild from much as they can, but you saw how San Francisco was so devastated, like every other film that, like, where San Francisco was completely destroyed. No, this film actually improves the human condition and tries to improve, like, relations between humans and other animals, including the apes.
Yeah, well, and I definitely did feel like, I mean, the angle that they obviously tried to take is that both communities are just searching for survival and whatnot, and the conflict arises in that there's just certain conflicts of interest and whatnot. And I did really like the beginning where they were kind of like establishing the ape community. That was probably my favorite part, was just like seeing how the apes had survived and started developing this civilization. But for me, I mean, I just kind of wanted to know more about the characters, kind of on both sides, honestly. You know, especially Malcolm's family would have been nice.
Yeah, that would have been nice. And I mean, there was one other thing that I couldn't understand, because, like, in the trailers, as many of have witnessed, they thought that it's taken 4 years to find the flu.
Right. Yeah.
4
How
years to
long
find
has
each
it
other.
been since?
So,
yeah.
how much of a timeline are we talking about?
Plus,
Are
I
we
mean,
talking
like,
about 10 years? Are we talking about 8?
Right,
What
San
are we
Francisco
talking
is
about
like
here?
overgrown with trees and whatnot. You're just like, this looks like it's been a long time.
It's a dystopian San Francisco.
But then Caesar
Yeah.
is still alive too, which is interesting. So, and it's funny how they definitely tried to like tie it back in with the sequel in a few sequences. You see little cameos of recordings of James Franco at
Yes.
least. So yeah, I appreciated that. But yeah, anything else?
I mean, the visual effects were like as best as you.
It was like
did it.
I was just blown away. I have to say by how real it was, and I saw it, you saw it in 3D too, right?
I
mean,
did see it,
I feel
yeah.
like it wasn't necessarily, and it wasn't flashy 3D either. It was like nice, subtle, like it just
jumped
felt
right
more
at you.
realistic. Yeah.
I mean, I was sitting in the front row, and all I can say was, "Oh my God, Ape!"
Yeah. No. Honestly.
no, but in a good way. But
Yeah, so, no. Some of the best parts of this is that they make the apes super scary in a lot of ways, where it's kind of like the birds for apes. So yeah.
I mean, any classic Planet of the Apes fan will definitely appreciate this for what it is.
Most
So,
definitely. Most definitely. All right. Well, what is your favorite science fiction movie? Leave a comment in the section below. Subscribe to us on YouTube, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter. And you may be featured in the next Price of Admission. Thanks.